Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith, and for those of you who have been with me for a while, you recognize Hallie.
Howdy.
This is one that I've been wanting to do for a long time. Let's make sure that Hallie's in there enough. She's gonna...
Oh, it's fine.
Is that you in there? Okay. All right. Very good. Many of you know Hallie. I'm going to make a short introduction of her, and then we're going to get in. I want to talk about women in preparedness and women in SHTF. Hopefully, I've clipped my mic over here on my sleeve, so it'll be equidistant between the two of us, so it'll pick her up as well as me. Welcome to everybody. Welcome to all the new people, both on YouTube and on Patreon. If you want to know what that is, we do extra stuff over on Patreon. I'm not sure how much. We might have to make this a two-parter. I don't know. We'll just kind of see how far we go into it. But we'll get started. For those of you, every time Hallie's on, people will come on, some and say, and understandably so, they'll say, "You have a lovely daughter." Or some of you say, "You have a lovely granddaughter." Well, you could be my granddaughter, couldn't you? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
She could. Hallie is not, she may not be my blood daughter, but she is my daughter in spirit. She is a member of our family in everything but blood. She is an exceptional person. I won't embarrass her by going into detail here, but she is one of the core members of our group, our circle of friends. She is an EMT. She has so many skills, I wouldn't be able to list them. She carries both a knife and a gun and is a great cook and really a part of our medical team. She is fearless. I often have to keep her from doing crazy things. She is certainly not one of these, what should I say?
Wusses?
Yeah, she's no wuss. Mm-hmm. She's certainly not. So I've been waiting. She's been really busy lately, and I've been waiting to do this. She's going to be talking more in just a minute, but one of the reasons that I wanted to do this is because I think, first off, when I first came out with my first book, The Reversion, I was amazed at how many women had bought my book and had given reviews on it. I was amazed. I didn't think that any women would be interested in my books, except for my mother, who was my mother, and my wife, who had to act like she was interested, right? But a couple of funny things happened. First off, so many of the reviews were from women, and they loved my book. And then, when I was still working over at the hospital at the time, when people found out that I'd written a book, a lot of people said, "Oh, can I have a copy?" I didn't know if they were just being nice or not. I was amazed at how many of the females, nurses, and administrators, actually, because my book started going around the administration, came to me and loved it and told me in detail what they loved about it. And some of the women were just bloodthirsty as could be.
Vicious.
Vicious. Great people, though. People that I like having in my group. The interesting thing was I included women to a great extent in my first book and in all subsequent books. I love strong women. I am not a big fan of weak women, as I am not a big fan of weak men. Okay? I judge people according to a certain standard. That applies to men and women. I took some shots from some people in my first book in the Amazon reviews about, "I can't stand this guy. He immediately goes back to traditional gender roles," and things like that, right? Well, to an extent, I do. And we'll talk about that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw it over to Hallie in a minute. But I said the interesting thing was, and I addressed that. I actually did address that in my first book and explained exactly what my position was and why. But I thought, well, it's interesting because women have killed more people in my books than men. Mm-hmm. And women are an integral part of it. They are an integral part. And then as I've been interested to see how many of our viewers here and how many of our commenters and Patreon members are women, and how many times it's the woman in the family who has been the driver of preparedness and survival. Have you found that to be true yourself?
Hmm?
Yeah. Has that surprised you as much as me?
Mm-hmm. It's hard to. Sometimes you kind of have to convince a man and show him. Like, they want to provide and protect and everything, but they don't understand the depth of survival providing protection. They just think it's immediate and acute and like, oh, let me save you with my gun. There's more to it than that.
Yeah, and a lot of times, because so many of the men, men should be, but women revolve around the protection of their kids and their family. Mm-hmm. It's the woman who, in many cases, is the heart of the family. Now, it should not be just the woman. The man and the woman should be the heart beating in the same rhythm of the family. Don't you think so? Mm-hmm. But in many cases, that's not the case, and we have a split in it. And in the cases to where the women are the ones really driving it, to an extent, many men simply think of protecting their family, providing for their family as making the money, paying the bills. The world's going to keep on going like it always has, and nothing's going to happen because this is the world they've invested themselves in.
Yeah, no. They need to protect and provide for the family emotionally too, because that creates a stronger bond and that creates a unity there, and that makes it almost hard to kind of breach those walls, and it makes it more secure. So there's the emotional, there's the actual provider protector through food and through resources. That's the thing. Have resources, be adaptive, be flexible, be ready for anything.
That's exactly right. And I think where this is that many men, because we have been living in a fairly safe world, for the last 100 years, 150 years, we haven't had to fight the beast. We haven't had to, for the most part, protect our family daily from threats outside the house. Men have kind of gone to this, I make the money, I pay, I'm going to buy stuff, and they buy their way out of it. To whereas the women have this more deeply held,
intuitive,
intuitive protecting their chicks. I'm going to protect my flock from what's going on. That's why in many cases women choose men for their earning capability. That's
social status.
Social status, that's right, because that is tied to the preservation of the children and the family.
Right? The problem with that is nowadays that the social status is like the CEO, and it's not the one who's just the vicious protector, because there's no true initiation of manhood nowadays the way that there used to be. You used to have to do something to physically protect to be initiated into adulthood, or you have to prove your strong characteristics that you can provide, and always, not just financially. There's so much more than that. So nowadays the initiation is, I just got a bachelor's degree and I'm getting a CEO job, but then I'm just gonna not actually find a job, and I'm stuck with flipping burgers or something until then, with a lot of debt. So there's your initiation. You're a man because you pay your medical bills with a bachelor's degree that's not used.
Oh, how about that? That's I will agree with that. Manhood is measured differently now, and that's why we have too many 35 and 40-year-old males playing. What are these games on video?
I don't know who I am.
Huh?
Too many men. I don't know who I am.
Oh my gosh, she just got back.
Trying to figure out who I am.
I won't. Yeah. She could tell you about that. She has run into so many guys who don't know who they are, trying to find themselves in their 30s and 40s, right?
Yep.
Trying to find themselves. What are the names of these video games that these guys play so much?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Yeah.
Call of Duty to my TV.
Wow. Okay.
Not to my life.
If I was going to spend my time making my suggestions on what men ought to do now, we'd be here forever. And I want to take this over to Hallie. The women's place. You're talking about a woman's place. That's right.
Ooh.
Women have a very special place.
Mm-hmm.
They are not relegated to the background if they've got what it takes. Now, some need to be. I'll just be real honest. I'm not one of those that says that somebody is just wonderful because they're a woman. If a person's top notch, it's because they're top notch. I don't care what else they are. But women have a special place with special abilities and a special calling. I will say that men have a special calling. Women have a different special calling. And so that's what I want to... Oh, good. They're mowing outside my fence just in time. That's all right. Hal, I'm going to toss this over to you. Tell me what you think about and what you have found. Put you on pause for a second. Tell me about what you think about women's place, what women bring to the table in preparedness and SHTF. And for you ladies out there, I want to hear all of your comments and all of your contributions in there. You have so much to contribute. Okay.
So,
take it away, daughter. Spirit daughter.
That made me think of someone with spirit animals, a deer, and they toot it on them. I asked them if they hunt. They've never hunted. And it was a dude. Anyways, so the first thing that came to mind is I had watched this thing from Abby Johnson where she goes around to colleges around the U.S. and talks about pro-choice and pro-life. So, of course, it's pro-life because that's where she stands. When I was watching this, she discussed the science that a baby is a baby immediately after conception. And no matter if you call it fetus or if you call it a baby or a newborn, it's still life. That's exactly what the definition or biology is. That she describes the definition of life through biology. Anyway, so these girls at the end, they were arguing with her, trying to deny that a fetus is not a baby, it is not life. Well, these are college women, girls. I'm gonna say girls because they're not women, because they don't have an understanding what exactly it is. They think that what they've grown up in and what's most important to them is growing up, getting a job, supporting themselves, and they don't need no man. Okay, you don't need a man if you want to say it that way, but two is better than one. And we are made to work in pairs and have a covenant, which is marriage, and have a family. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And we are never truly fulfilled without that, even when we think that we are. How many women do you know that have chased their careers in the 30s and 40s just not having a kid, and they don't get to actually be the woman that they want to be and the mother that they want because they've spent all their time chasing status and power? That was never the position for them to begin with. You know, they're missing something inside of them, and they know that they're not happy, and they try to find all these other alternatives to fill that void, when that void is really being the mother and being the wife and being meek. Meek is not submission without power. Meek is powerful. It is supporting the husband in the traditional role. 1 second. Thank you for your patience.
Hot dog.
Yeah, so meekness is not weakness. There's nothing wrong with being in your femininity. And I can say that from experience. I have been a woman who has had to be independent and has had to rely on myself. And I did not think that I needed companionship, but I was really empty and I did not know it. And when I truly start to understand the value, the traditional values and the benefit that it has on femininity, and that it's okay to have that in me, I am happier than I have ever been and more fulfilled than I have never felt, so close to who I actually am. And I got to put that person suit away. That strong, I can do this on my own. And that had to be challenged in order for me to understand that. And I'm not listening to society. Everyone around me is poor me, poor me. I have a broken heart. I need to find who I am. And I can't rely on anyone. When it's not relying, it's depending on each other. That's what a partnership is. That's what the role of a mother, a wife, and a woman is. It's supporting, and there's no weakness in that. That is strength, because a man needs a woman and a woman needs a man. A child needs a mother, and a mother needs a child. Hold on.
We might have to pause a couple more times. I'm glad they're getting the grass cut out there on the parkway well. So we'll have to shut it off if we do.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so now where that role comes into intuitive protection and nurturing, intuition on a woman's part, that's part of the feminine nurturing role that we have as women. That's innate, that's primal, that's not going away, that's in our genes, okay? That's what we are here for. And so by getting into prepping and preparing to make sure that our families are fed, that's taking care of their well-being, that's nurturing. Boys like to laugh and say that women are meant to be in the kitchen and cooking. Well, when you say it that way, that's kind of messed up, but I mean, that's the most fulfilling for me. I know that. One more second.
Okay, I want to explain. If this seems a little jerky sometimes, it's because the HOA lawn care is out there cutting outside of my fence, and when they come close here, I want you to be able to hear Hallie, so I pause it. So that's why, if it seems a little jerky, that's why. Hopefully they'll be done in a minute. Hopefully they do a good job. Okay, you remember where you were?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, for the most part. So my point to all of this is, when my instinct, because I hope to, have kids here in the future, my instinct is, what is society going to try to impose on my children, and how can I protect them from being engulfed in this new age garbage, right? And how can I keep the traditional values and my principles and morals and my Christianity within the family? How do I do that, and how can I protect them? Well, the first part is food and having resources to make sure that no matter what happens around me, as a mother, I can give them what they need, and I don't need to rely on anyone else. And that's also another job as the protector and provider for a man, is the woman supporting them and going to do that, and the woman taking care of the household and cooking and doing those things and helping find the best way to gather these resources and this food and the necessities to make sure that our family is safe within our, bubble of resources. I don't know, but
If I can throw something in there too.
yep. After we pause.
Yeah, after we pause, just a second. Okay, what I was going to throw in, and if you see a nose sticking up here, it's my dog. There it is. There's a nose. Hallie is the only person, by the way, outside the family who can get close to this dog, and that's by design, because this dog, Max, is the protector of the family. He's not just a noisemaker, but a protector, aren't you? Yeah. And I'm going to do another one on dogs here one of these days. Anyway, what I was going to interject here with Hallie was that in addition to all the things that she's saying, I would still want Hallie. I mean, she is more capable than half the guys that I know as far as physically. I mean, she is a... Like I say, she carries a gun, she carries a knife, she's got her rifles, she does so many things that you don't know.
That's another way of supporting the man, is making sure that you can, if he's gone doing something, what are you going to do? You're not some weakling taking care of the family. You have to be strong.
That's right. One more. And that's exactly right. As our predecessors, as our ancestors moved west across the continent, the man wasn't always at the house to take care of things. He relied, and he chose the woman to be the protector of the kids and herself when he was gone. That was absolutely important. From the very first time when I was young, and I didn't get married till I was later, till I was older. But I always said that your job as a woman is to protect yourself if I'm not there, right? And you protect the kids if I'm not there. Go ahead, though. What I was going to say, she's a power lifter. Okay, she's stronger than half the men I know, so she is perfectly capable, and she is fearless. You ought to see her climb. Those of you who saw her climb the vines last year, I would want her, if you've read the Stonemont series, she is a scout, okay? But she is the scout that when she has a family, she has to stay home and take care of the family because we can't afford to lose the mother of the children.
And I'd
right?
be happy to do it.
That's right.
I do nutrition stuff.
That's right. We're going to get into that a little bit later. We'll probably have to make a second one because there's more that I wanted to cover with her. But let's continue with this one for now. Okay.
If you want an example of a good, strong woman that's still in her femininity and supporting and meek, watch Yellowstone. Watch The Wife.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Let me pause one more time.
Well, I'm sorry, 1881.
1883.
83, sorry. Yep,
1883.
that. Watch that.
Yeah.
I love those. That's a great example of the family dynamics and the strength of a woman and a man and the family.
That's right. That's
Yep.
exactly right. That was very reflective. You know, when I go back through the family papers, many of you can do this too, but I have papers of my family, things that they wrote, log journals and letters back to the 1700s, and what they went through as they started to colonize this country, you know, both in South Carolina and Virginia. And when the men weren't there, the woman had to be the fierce protector and the mother. Mm-hmm. So, do you remember, we're going to do a second one after this one about what you and I were talking about when we were gone, about
nutrition.
Well, you know what we, about nutrition and things like that. Mm-hmm. But there's two things I'm going to throw both of them out here. You interweave them or do them however you want to.
One moment.
Okay, put these two together or do them separately, however you want to do. Do you remember when you first became interested in prepping? How did that happen? I guess the guy brought a buddy now. He says, I'm not making enough noise. And I think that those people on that video can probably still hear them. So would you come with your mower and help me? We'll see if we get through this, all right?
This is grass whacking battle, buddy.
Man! So do you remember when you first became interested in prepping, how that came about, how you got into it? Go as long as you want to, because we'll do a second one if we need to. And what does a woman particularly bring to the table?
Ooh, do I? I just remember guns and ammo and, the training. Sleigh bell. I don't remember. I think it was a slow ease into it because you started explaining, because, COVID had just started. Mm-hmm. And you started explaining politics to me that I did not care about originally. Right.
And hold that, because that's a good thing to get into. She first came to me asking me to teach her how to fight. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now go ahead and after the grass moron passes again. Okay, we're laughing at the grass whackers. Okay. All right.
Grass whacking battle buddies.
So she came to me to begin with because she wanted me to teach her how to fight. And so then now kind of take them on this journey, how you got into it.
Just protection. The way that some of the stories he told me when he was undercover and the life that I've lived. I've been fighting, but I didn't realize it. Protecting myself in a survival way. And so a lot of things that he said kind of resonated with the way that I've had to live. And then I was like, well, this would be easier. And then the points that he made with protecting yourself and your family and being able to be a controlled weapon, which is exactly what we are, that got me interested in that. And then the rest of it was, well, if you could protect yourself physically, how are you going to do that food-wise? And I love food. So.
And she's a great cook.
Thank you.
She kept me fed while she was my partner over at the hospital. Oh, she brought in the best stuff.
I let it slow cook at work and you smelt it.
Oh, yeah. Good Lord, I put on 20 pounds.
And it wasn't from the butter.
I started losing weight when you left.
That's true. Anyway, so I don't want to go without food. And then, the whole COVID thing happened and everything was off the shelves, and food was my biggest concern. So then I got into, okay, let's have some more food and let's start prepping this and prepping that, and then it's just kind of, you know, built up from there. I don't really know exactly one situation. It was a slow roll for me because I was 22 years old and didn't care about politics until it affected my food. So that was the truth. And then I was like, wait a second, hold on here. No, I'm not going to be hungry.
That's funny. And Jiminy. All right, these guys have never done this many times. Okay, I know that they've been sent by somebody who doesn't like me. They usually go up and down 3 times, and I think we've had to stop this, 10 times? Here he comes again. We'll be right back. I think this guy is cutting each blade of grass individually. Okay, so that's right. So you came onto it slowly, but it is a slow realization for a lot of people, isn't it?
Right, because anything fast and quick and immediate and in bulk.
So I kind of walked all over something else a minute ago. You said when it threatened your food, that's what got you around, right? Huh?
He's coming back.
This guy hates me. This guy hates me. I never did anything to him. I swear. Now he's just going to cut this one little area right outside my fence, but he's going to make sure he does a great job at it.
Hey man, his buddy.
Okay, we will see. We will see if we're able to finish this up. We have lost our train of thought because we had to shut it off for so long.
Grass whackers.
That kind of looked like I was holding your head in my hand, didn't it? We're gonna do a second one. This one, let me see how much. Yeah, we're gonna have to bring this to a close. On the next one, I'm gonna ask Hallie a couple of things. Mainly, what specifically does a woman bring to the table in preparedness and SHTF? So you all join us on the next one. I think I'm going to put it on YouTube because I don't think we're going to get into anything that I don't want to. So I think it'll be on YouTube, not just Patreon. Okay? You all have a good day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. How important women are in the entire process of preparedness and the entire formula of surviving SHTF. You all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.